For what purpose does the gentleman from Minnesota rise?
Mr. Speaker, I have an amendment at the desk.
Clerk will designate the amendment.
Amendment number 5, printed in House Report number 111-192, offered by Mr. Paulson of Minnesota.
Pursuant to House Resolution 610, the gentleman from Minnesota, Mr. Paulson, and a member opposed, each will control 5 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Minnesota.
Mr. Speaker, I yield myself as much time as I may consume.
The gentleman's recognized.
Mr. Speaker, my amendment would add medical technology to the list of commercialization and research topics that deserve special consideration for SBIR funding. According to a recent census study, 71% of medical device companies have less than 10 employees, small businesses. Despite the small size of these companies, they have a tremendous impact on our economy. Each medical technology job has been shown to create an additional 2 jobs by creating the need for secondary positions of technicians and repairmen by purchasing other inputs of production. Each medical technology payroll dollar generates an additional $1.12 in payroll to account for the increased number of positions and skills required to fill these jobs. And each dollar of medical technology sales generates an additional 90 cents in sales in that state by providing more citizens with disposable income. Now, while startup costs are high for many of these new technologies, they do pay dividends down the road once the products get to market. We should help these companies by getting the funds into the hands they need so they can bring new life-saving technologies to market. The current challenge right now is that these are high-risk, high-reward investments. This amendment will go a long way to providing these firms with needed capital to continue innovating. In the last 10 years alone, there has been an 80% increase in patents for breakthrough medical technologies, and we must help these products get to market. One such company recently testified just before the Small Business Committee on the SBIR program. It was MicroTransponder. In their testimony at the committee, they outlined how they have used the SBIR funds to develop treatments for chronic pain and other neurological disorders, including traumatic brain injury, post-traumatic stress disorder, motor disorders, autism, and others. Taken together, these conditions affect over 50 million people in the U.S. and represent a cost of over $100 billion annually. Mr. Speaker, as Congress moves towards health reform legislation, we should also consider ideas that are cost-efficient and cost-effective. Not only does medical technology create jobs, increase life expectancy, but it also shows to reduce costs in countless cases. So as the medical technology industry continues to grow and expand, we need to make sure that patients will see these benefits on an increasingly efficiently basis. It's more affordable and they're life-saving technologies. That's why this amendment makes sense to target these resources, and I reserve the balance of my time.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from New York rise?
Mr. Chairman, while not opposed to the amendment, I ask unanimous consent to claim the time in opposition.
Without objection, the gentlewoman from New York is recognized for 5 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I thank the gentleman from Minnesota for his good amendment. We all know that one area where SBIR has been most successful is medical research. From heart stent to pacemakers, advances in the medical technology field bring important benefits to the lives of ordinary Americans every day. In addition to improving our quality of life, the medical technology industry is an important driver in the American economy. In 2006, this industry employed more than 350,000 people and paid $21.5 billion in salaries. Clearly, this field, which is dominated by smaller firms, plays a vital role in providing jobs and fostering economic growth. Many of these firms got their start thanks to SBIR funding. The kind of high-risk, high-reward research that medical technology companies engage in made them strong candidates for SBIR grants. So already there is an important relationship between SBIR and advances in the medical technology field. Mr. Paulson's amendment will codify this relationship by putting a direct reference to medical technology in the Act. While a seemingly small change, this amendment will formalize SBIR's support for medical technology research. In that way, the amendment will support future research and may very well lead to the development of the medicines of tomorrow. I believe this is a good amendment, and I yield to the ranking member, Mr. Graves, for any comments that he might have.
The gentleman from Missouri.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Chairman, I rise today in support of the amendment from the gentleman from Minnesota. Medical technology represents a key component of the economy and also an important contributor in this country. The amendment makes a sensible recognition that medical technology should be a special focus of the SBIR and STTR programs. Mr. Chairman, I yield back the balance of my time. Thanks, Madam Chair.
Gentlewoman from New York.
Mr. Chairman, we're prepared to accept the amendment and yield back the balance of my time.
Gentlewoman from New York yields back the balance of her time. The gentleman from Minnesota.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the leadership on a bipartisan basis for the support of this amendment. I would just like to yield 2 minutes to an avid guitar player and staunch supporter of maintaining the United States' status as a world leader in medical technology, the gentleman from Tennessee, Mr. Rowe.
The gentleman from Tennessee is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise in support of the Paulson Amendment to give special consideration to SBIR funding for medical technology. The underlying legislation prioritizes projects that are related to energy and infectious diseases, but there is no question that these are deserving areas. But I believe the Paulson Amendment adds an important priority category that is left out: medical technology. The fact is, because of our healthcare system, we lead the world in medical technology advances. It's a huge competitive edge we hold, and one I do not want to lose. As a physician, I was able to take advantage of this technology over the course of my career, and I can give numerous examples of how care was improved for my patients. Prioritizing SBIR funding for medical technology projects is one step to help us maintain our edge. While this amendment will take steps toward creating a fertile environment for medical technology advances, it is important not to take 2 steps back by creating a government-run healthcare system. A major problem with care that is managed by Washington bureaucrats instead of patients and doctors is that bureaucrats are focused on cost rather than advancing care, and they inevitably require the use of older, less expensive technology because of its comparative effectiveness. If the healthcare system refuses to use new technology until older technology has proven ineffective, we eliminate much, if not all, of the incentive for new medical technology developments and rob future generations of the chance to find cures for cancer, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, diabetes, just to name a few. So I urge adoption of the Paulson Amendment, which to me is just common sense, and hope this Congress does all it can to keep the health care system that rewards medical research and development. I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman from Minnesota.
Speaker, I yield back the balance of my time.
Questions on the amendment offered by the gentleman from Minnesota. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the amendment is adopted.